let's get into it. So first, let's do the Atozi video. So I'm going to review that first, but here's his video. Now, this is part 1 of 2, apparently, of his coverage, which is disrespectful IRL streamer destroys his life in Korean court in front of us. So I'm featured in a good amount of this, but I also wanted to give some narrative because I feel like, you know, I can give you guys some background and what's going on with some of this. So without further ado, I'm going to play this video. Also, big ups to Atozi. It was great meeting him and his team. They're really good people, and I think they have a really good production. So I can give them a stamp of approval on their coverage in this.
11:16. Charges were read by the prosecution. The prosecution reads out the 3 charges against Ramsey. 1. Disruption of business. Ramsey entered a 7-Eleven, began drinking alcohol, which is illegal in Korea. When the elderly shop owner asked him to stop, he became verbally abusive. He threw ramen inside the store and continued drinking anyway.
This is obstruction of business. So this right here carries a penalty of up to 5 years. And this is one of the more serious charges. There are 2 counts of obstruction of business. This incident in this video is one of them.
Loud music, danced drunkenly, and harassed customers as they entered. His actions caused financial harm to the business and emotional distress to the owner. The prosecutor's language mirrors the strict legal vocabulary used in the previous drug dealer's case that we witnessed before Ramsey's case, emphasizing the social damage that Ramsey's actions caused. 2. Public harassment.
So let me go back to this. What this means is that the language that they used for this disruption of business case is a type of very serious language. So that means the prosecutor was taking things seriously. We previously watched, right before this, we were in the courtroom and they were calling other cases. We watched the case of a drug dealer. They were putting Ramsey on the level of a drug dealer. There were also cases of fraud and financial crimes, some of which they actually didn't use that very serious language. Korea is one of those languages where you can say things in a more harsh way or a more neutral way or a lighter way. And it was only in Ramsey's case where he was paired with a Persian drug dealer who was dealing meth. He is literally on the same level as a meth dealer. Language matters a lot. And this is the stuff that's completely lost on Johnny. And it's also largely lost on Hank too, because his Korean is not that great. I'm not even sure he kind of gets the intonative differences. But it's really a point that needs to be hammered home, that the prosecutor was not playing around or joking about this. This was not funny to him at all.
Ramsey's case, emphasizing the social damage that Ramsey's actions caused. 2. Public harassment with a rotting fish. Ramsey carried a rotting fish in a plastic bag.
So here it is. Here's the rotting fish. So he walked around and he harassed people with this rotting fish in a plastic bag. And this is part of the Minor Crimes Act, right? And you can also see the police there for him on this, because he was going around harassing people with this rotten fish, and that is a Minor Crimes Act. Probably could have even been charged higher than this, but still.
Passengers asked him to remove the fish from the bus. He ignored them. He randomly approached pedestrians with a rotting fish, disturbing social order and making people feel unsafe. Upon hearing about the rotting fish, the judge slightly tilts his head and reviews the charges, seemingly in disbelief. However, he remains stone-faced and does not comment. And
so the judge almost slipped up. The judge almost not laughed, but was like, "What the?" Like it's like probably like, this guy is an idiot.
And the 3rd charge is lewd conduct on public transportation. Ramsey was accused of suggestive dancing and playing loud music on the bus and in train. He was specifically accused, in quote, of twerking, which is considered deviant in Korea.
I'm not doing it. Oh yeah, no.
This was a statue Johnny twerked on.
And that's apparently the first.
That's the one in Itaewon. That's the one in Itaewon. But he was also charged really for twerking and loud music on the bus and train as well. So he was going around and doing that in public, which, twerking. And once again, this may be the first time in a criminal case that you hear the use the word twerking. There may have been like contracts where you use the word twerking, but probably in a criminal case, first time using that word. But this is, for his behavior, and it's the Minor Crimes Act. For both the Minor Crimes Act charges, both the public transit, twerking, and the fish, those are fines and under 1 year. Typically, they're just with by fines. So they're typically just finable offenses, or under 1 year in prison. And the obstruction is 5 years. So.
Time the word twerking has ever been used in a court case in Korea. 11:18, the unexpected 4th charge.
So here we go. Nobody knew about this. Now Ramsey tries to pretend he's like, oh, I know about all these charges. And remember, the paper that he showed was actually from the Eastern District. It wasn't even from the correct district. This case was in the Western District. So this fourth charge, it's for obstruction of business. So he doesn't know the details of this charge. I mean, him and his lawyer probably just have noticed that there's another charge. Maybe his lawyer might know it's obstruction, but they appeared really confused.
The judge asks Ramsey if he's received the letter of the fourth charge. Both Ramsey and his lawyer appeared confused.
So once again, this is the professor saying this, not just me. His lawyer was confused. Ramsey was confused. Neither one of them was aware of the additional charge.
The lawyer receives a new charge and reviews it. Then the judge
he's reviewing it on the spot.
Asks the defense how they wish to plead. Ramsey's lawyer states that he pleads guilty to all charges except for the new charge, which they have not yet reviewed. The judge asks how much time the defense requires. The lawyer requests 3 weeks to review the new charge. The judge then grants the request, and then the hearing of the fourth charge is scheduled for April 9th, 2025. Ramsey no longer smiles and appears very concerned. 11:20. Judge's final word. The judge sternly warns Ramsey to not be late for the next hearing. The judge looks mildly annoyed, which in Korean culture indicates that he is actually very annoyed.
Yeah, because that's the point there. In Korean culture, like if you're showing you're even mildly annoyed, you're probably extremely annoyed. So they're saying literally, hey, don't be late. Like, and if you're late, there's going to be serious punishment for it. Again.
22. Court adjourns. We stand and exit the courtroom, leaving Ramsey behind. After the hearing, a journalist asked Ramsey why he wore a MAGA cap and kept putting it back on. Ramsey responded, because I can do whatever I want. Korea is a vassal state of America.
A vassal state of America, which actually, I think it's related to having military bases, saying, oh, because our military bases, but essentially calling us a vassal state. A vassal state. That's a very detrimental thing. That's essentially saying it's a slave state.
Again, that is a quote from him. His freedom is in Korea's hands right now. And remember what I said about him pleading guilty? Well, that's exactly what happened because, he showed up drunk and pled guilty to 3 of those charges, which means no matter what, he's going to become a convicted criminal in Korea because he just pleaded guilty. So he's now banned from Korea when they finally let him leave here after he's...
Correct. He will be probably permanently banned from Korea. That's most likely what will happen. Even if on paper it's 5 or 10 years, most likely it'll be effectively a permanent ban. They're just going to be like, this guy's not worth the trouble.